Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E streaming. It is Thursday night, and that means one thing: it is the ANZCAR Cup, and we are back on a road course. We are at one of the great road course circuits in the world. We are here at Watkins, Glen, and we are going to be racing the Cup cars tonight. Here for round 25 of the season. We've got two more rounds with this one included before we head into the playoffs. So it is very much getting to the end of getting yourself locked into those playoff positions. So a few people will be hoping to get that done tonight. I'm as own Mr. Carl Wilkinson. With it joining me up here in the booth, I have Mr. Mark Jansen. Mark, how are you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good to be here at Watkins Glen, one of my favourite road courses. On paper, it looks very easy, but it is a tough little circuit.
It is indeed so much undulation around this place. There is a lot of hilliness to it, a lot of uphill and downhill braking zones, and places where you can have a big old crash as well. Cars are starting to line up on the grid, going for their formation lap. But before they do, we're also joined by Mr. Matt Hunter, back from his holidays. Matt, welcome back to the booth, mate.
Yeah, good to be back. Thanks, Carl.
So let us start by looking at the track conditions quickly. While we have got a couple of moments here before the start of the formation lap, and track-wise, it's about 36 degrees air temperature, so 36 degrees track temperature, 28 degree air temperature. There's a little bit of wind in a southwesterly direction. Track temperature is not going to be too bad tonight. That's a really nice climate here in the beautiful New York State area. So let us run through the starting grid for tonight's race, and well, up at the taking pole position on the front row, it's a DPR, and it's not Andrew Dyson. It's Philip Worley taking his pole position tonight ahead of that man, Andrew Dyson. On row number 2, Lachlan Urquhart had a really good time next to Dave Douglas as well. Alexander Sheridan and Daniel Hedderscheid make up row 3. On the 4th row, it's Ruben Phelps and Luke Crum. On row number 5, we have Shane Bowen and Jai Schultz. On row number 6 tonight is Joshua Carroll-Walden and Christopher Tomlin. Matty Ray, Riley Curtis make up our 7th row. Stephen Albert, Gary Wildman make it a green row number 8. Norman Clark and Brad Finley continue on the green scheme on row number 9. Phil Otto lines up next to Neil Pearson, and Brenton Henderson and Kobe Jordan round out of field tonight. 22 cars out there tonight, looking to get some racing done. And well, the run down to the first corner, Mark, it can be perilous.
It can be very perilous. Very quick down that front straight, and then heavy braking into that right-hand turn for turn 1, and then that continues up through the S's. The car can get very taily through on those first 2 laps through that left to right up over the hill. So be interesting to see who's got their brake bias set up right, and hold on for a great ride in the turn 1.
Yeah, really got to get it right. So drivers getting around now, they'll be dragging the brake a little bit, trying to get some temperature in those brake pads. Of course, steel drum brakes, well, steel disc brakes, I should say. They've moved away from drums a little bit in the NASCAR scene. Only just, though. I mean, it is slightly new technology to them. So it does take a little bit of time just to get those brakes up to temperature and working conditions. And it will take a couple of laps for those tyres to fully come up to temperature as well. And that's one thing we've seen with this new generation of car, is it takes a bit of time to get the tyres right into that nice operating window. These things are very skittish in the opening stages. Coming around the back section of track now up to the start finish line. The pace car is going to be peeling in here tonight. The final road course of the regular season here at Watkins Glen for the road course double with Indianapolis. Last time out, we're about to go green flag racing here for 45 laps. And away we go. I'm going to shut up so we can enjoy these cars roaring around Watkins Glen.
Got a big wreck. Sorry, guys. Got a big wreck there in the back.
We do. Neil Pearson getting caught up in that one with Joshua Carroll-Walden and Maddie Ray. Those drivers are looking to get themselves into the playoffs. Maddie Ray and Neil and JCW. It looks like JCW's just gone around in front of Maddie Ray. So he's just had the back end stepped out. We'll keep our eyes on the live racing. We'll try and jump back to that accident in a little bit of time. They all made it through turn one relatively well. Philip Worley dropping back a little bit though. He ran wide in the opening lap. And a lot of cars getting hit, some very fast cars getting hit early on there and taken out of their positions and out of their starting area for this race. And that's going to be, well, that can have championship implications. So let's jump to the replay now and take another ganders at that one. With JCW in pit lane, I think he's got some major repairs needing going for the 35 Qatari car. So we see here coming through just on the top of the hill, car gets loose for JCW, nowhere to go for Manny Ray, just gets into the back of him, keeps him turning round. And that mistake cost all three of those cars. Neil Pearson getting caught up in that one. Brad Finley just getting lucky to escape it. And then you see Maddie Ray T-boning JCW once more. Pearson looks to have gotten away relatively unscathed.
That front is on the wrong angle.
Yep, I think we'll find Neil sitting in the pits at the moment. That left front wheel is not happy.
No, that was not turning, was it, on the screen?
No.
So, yeah, that does not look good indeed. So that's Pearson and Joshua Carroll-Walden out of this race early doors. Meanwhile, up at the front, we've got racing going on. Andrew Dyson's being put under pressure from Lachlan Urquio and Daniel Hederscheid. Lachlan Urquio would sorely love to get a victory here tonight to get himself locked into the playoffs because he's one of those drivers that is battling away on points at the moment. Currently sitting in 7th position, the highest driver on points at the moment. He's battling it out with Dave Douglas at Maddie Ray and JCW, as we said. So with two of those drivers out early doors, it's going to be an opportunity to get a nice points haul for Lockie. But if he can get that win, it would be even sweeter.
Yeah, definitely. And as you alluded to earlier there, Carl, both JCW and Matty Ray were very close in points. So if Matty Ray can keep going, he'll gain some points over JCW if he can't get back out on the track.
He's got a lot of work to make up as well. But yeah, that car has been quick. The SRM machine, the Mobile Braking Mechanical SRM team, Matty Ray, team leader, he has been pretty damn quick around here. And he's setting some very quick laps early on as well. One of the few cars in the 1 minute 12 second range. He is absolutely going for it at the moment. Speaking of going for it, Jai Schultz making a move on Luke Crum and battling it out as well down there. Lots of action on track. Nice to see. See Philip Worley, he's dropped down behind Alexander Sheridan after running wide in turn one. We said how easy it can happen, Mark. You just need to get those brakes up to temperature. If they're not, you're going to run deep in turn one.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what caused JCW to step out. That those rear tyres weren't up to scratch. Just got on the gas too early, and we've seen the result, that rear end stepping out and seen him sideways across the track, as we've seen in the replay, with Matty Ray nowhere to go. So these guys really need to take 4 or 5 laps to get these tyres up, and they should be up to temp now. So as we've seen some of these guys really starting to turn on the pace.
Yeah, that's it. As you get up to the top of the S's, up turn 4, that's where we saw that one happening. It is a really tricky part of the track, and it often catches drivers out because it is just so fast up there. But it's also off camber, uphill. It's all the things that makes the car go loose, and that's what's happened for JCW, unfortunately. Getting caught out early doors. Plenty of action going on track, though. Got Ruben Phelps bowling it out at the moment with Shane Bowen and making a move on him, too. Getting his way up into 9th position. Lost a couple of positions at the start, but working his way back up the field now as well.
Yeah, look, I was talking to Ruben and the boys from SRM before the race, and Ruben's struggling here tonight. He's just not comfortable with his braking and
Contact between Philip Worley and Jai Schultz up to the bus stop. can see the aftermath of it there. Those two cars were racing hard as they got up to the top of the hill. Sorry to cut over you there, Mark. Racing side by side, going into the bus stop. And a bit of hip and shoulder action going through the bus stop does not work for two cars. And they have found themselves spinning down the order and dropping down some spots.
You see Philip just get out there over the ripple strip, but Jai follows him through in the same situation. Nice clean run up through the S's there. As we continue on. Jai's got the run up the inside, so now Philip should have known he was there, but yeah, Philip looks like he's just turned in and either not realised he was there. Let's hope Jai hasn't touched that inside fence, otherwise that's going to be some heavy damage down the right side of that car.
I think he just got away with that one, and it looks relatively clean still. On the inside lane productions car, looks relatively clean on the right hand side, so I think he got away with that one as unscathed as you can, but has dropped down a couple of spots down into 11th, but carrying on. And yeah, like you're saying there, Mark, I would say Wally is just really not sort of, maybe thought Jai would take a slightly tighter line through the corners there, but you can't rely on a driver to take that tighter line. You have to give them room.
Yeah, you definitely got it. But realistically, Carl, the bus stop is no place for two cars to try and get into. It's really a high-speed chicane, if you really want to call it. But yeah, it's definitely just unfortunate for both of them. Either one didn't see or one just didn't want to back out a little bit. But it's done and dusted. So, and they both continue on.
That's it. You just got to dust yourself down and get yourself back into the race. I mean, it's hard enough to get one of these cup cars through the bus stop, let alone two of them. It is a really, really tricky section. If you absolutely plant it right, you almost have to take it like you're in a V8 supercar, absolutely launching it over the curbs and just letting the car do the job. But when there's another car next to you, you can't take advantage of that. It always ends in disaster.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's one corner on here where you can stay in fifth gear and take that turn, but you've got to be a brave man to do it.
Riley Curtis moving his way up again. We saw Riley having a really good run at Indy. Can he do the same here tonight with that very beautiful paint job? No bias. He is running up into P10 now, up 4 positions from the start. One of the biggest movers overall. Biggest mover overall is Brenton Henderson down in 16th position with his Alopecia Australia Foundation painted car, and he is running that one tonight for Alopecia Awareness Month, and it's nice to see that out on track. Very pretty looking car as well, the purple and green. I'm a fan of a bit of purple here and there, and a bit of purple and green, it works very well.
Yeah, I don't mind a bit of purple. It's shame Paul Jackson isn't still running with us, because he's always got those purple wheels on for me. So, I was just going back to Riley Curtis. He paid us for that signage, didn't he?
Yeah, well, it's a mark of honour to get to run that on the side of your car. Very few drivers get that opportunity, and he was proud to take it. We were proud to take his $700. So, it works out very well all in all.
He's having a good run. Where is he? He's sitting down in 10th at the moment, so he's cracked into the top 10. So it's good to see him up there. Another one, again, I'll hopefully I don't put the mocker on him, Christopher Tomlin. He's come backwards a little bit, but good to see him up there again in the top 10 and running around.
Yeah, up 3 spots at the moment and doing a good job of keeping the car there. Luke Crum as well up in P6, having a solid run, and it's a really good battle at the moment as well between Alexander Sheridan, Luke Crum, Ruben Phelps. These guys are absolutely battling lap after lap. Shane Bowen, I should say. Actually, Shane Bowen is in that one. They are really, really going for it lap after lap after lap. And every time I look to them, There is nothing between those cars. With Bowen and Phelps, they are absolutely nose to tail through the corners.
Yeah, just back to what I was saying before, talking to the SRM boys earlier, and Ruben was really struggling around here tonight. He just doesn't know what it was. He just couldn't get his braking right. So it'll be interesting to see as we see Kobe Jordan peel off into the pit lane.
Yeah, Kobe, I think he had a late start, didn't quite get on track because he's 4 laps down already. So maybe just something going wrong with the system and not working there tonight, unfortunately, for that car as it is in pit lane. And yeah, it's never fun when things go wrong on a track that you really enjoy. And especially when it's close to the end of the season, especially close to the playoffs as well. Jordan's one of those drivers that's just outside the top 10.
Yeah.
He's sitting down in 11th at the moment.
Sorry, mate. Neil Pearson's just come back out of pit lane, so he's got that car repaired and he's back on track.
I expect to see a fastest lap for Neil Pearson. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see him do. Just throw down the gauntlet and say, look, Daiso, if I didn't get taken out, if I didn't get caught up in an accident, I would be beating you tonight. Because Andrew Dyson is up there in the lead. But we've got a good battle going on here between Stevie Dubb and Gary Wellman. The Green Machines battle away. Good to see Stevie Dubb back out there as well for a DPR. And these two fighting it out side by side as they come through the final corner. Side by side, they get sideways. Wellman's going to end up down pit lane. Stevie Dubb just saved that in the nick of time. I thought he was going into those barrels and that was going to be his night over and done with. Gary Wellman, I wonder if he'll get an unsafe entry. Hopefully he will get away relatively scot-free with that one.
Yeah, good excuse to come in and get some fuel. They can get out to between 24 and 26 laps in a tank of fuel tonight. So we see Gary taking lefts and the rights are now up and going on. But I was going to say that earlier, Carl. That last corner, that turn, I think it's turn 12 onto the main straight. It's a very, very deceiving corner. Very steep in camber. And if you don't get it right, you will find yourself doing what those boys just did.
You're giving the Americans too much credit there, Mark. They don't number the bus stop, so it's turn 7 of the final corner here at the Glen.
Okay, turn 7.
They got so lucky not to go into that pit wall though, and just see them side by side. Looks like Stevie Dubb's just lost the rear, and it's just started rubbing, and they've both made contact. And despite Stevie Dubb being the car on the inside, he's managed to sort of get it stopped and turned at the nick of time, so he doesn't have to go down pit lane. Whereas Gary's been pinged into pit lane and had to make a pit stop and an unenviable spot. Meanwhile, we'll jump to Shane Bowen because this battle is getting really hot now. Christopher Tomlin making a move down the inside into the bus stop and actually makes it work. Beautiful overtake there from Tomlin. Bowen being very, very generous and keeping himself in the position so he does not have an accident. Very nicely done there, boys. And we just saw in the background as well, Jai Schultz recovering. He's just got past Riley Curtis and he is working his way up through the field. And in the background, a little bit further back, we see the purple DPR car of Wally, our pole sitter, climbing his way back up through the field as well. So I will be fascinated to see the battle between the 27 and the 233 when that happens eventually in this race.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just checking on Neil Pearson. 1:11.4, so he's just behind Dyson in his best lap so far. But the last lap, he was the quickest car out on track.
Yeah, definitely trying to get that fastest lap token, and just to get that, deny Dyson of the full Monty.
Again, we see Jai up the inside, but he thinks better of it this time, and he pulls out through the bus stop. Doesn't want to get caught twice there.
No, it's a tricky position to be in. You've got to really, really know the drive you're overtaking if you're going to do it through the bus stop, the inner loop there, because it is just such a perilous spot. You've just got to have the utmost faith in them. Probably best opportunity is going to be down towards turn number 1, trying to do that late braking move, or trying to get a better run through here. As he does, gets underneath there. Bowen just makes a little mistake, gets a better run out of the exit of turn 7, and will be able to power his way down to first corner and be the last of the late breakers. Put Bowen slightly out of sorts, slightly on the high side there, slightly offline, and makes the move, gets himself back up into 9th position.
Some great battles right throughout. Matty Ray's closing in on Stevie Dubb for 16th and 17th. That battle's going to heat up very shortly. And good thing here though, Carl, is the car isn't overly aero dependent. So that damage that Matty Ray is carrying is hurting him, but it's not hurting him as much as an oval would.
No, that's it. You can get away with a little bit on the road courses, of course. It's if you get the damage at the back underneath it with the diffuser area, that can really affect the sort of the handling aspect of it. But generally everywhere else on these cars is pretty much doesn't matter. They will keep running. They are basically just a big engine with 4 wheels, and you turn them, point them in the right direction, and that's how they work.
Pearson is still down in 21st position, 8 laps down. But I tell you what, he's cutting through this field. He's really on the move. He's just got past Norman Clark in the final turn, and now he's all over the back of Brendan Henderson, the 81 machine.
Stick on this camera, Matt, because we're about to see some monster moves here. Ruben Phelps, Christopher Tomlin really battling it out as they go through the inner loop, and let's contact behind between Riley Curtis and Shane Bowen. Ruben Phelps goes all wrong on the exit of the bus stop into the carousel. They go, a little bit of contact. Phelps keeps it locked in, keeps the car there. Tomlin can take that wider runoff. He'll get a better exit there, get a good run. So does Shai Schultz. Ruben Phelps is going to lose 2 positions here at the carousel. Can he defend? He can't. Shai Schultz moves up past to 0.6. Ruben Phelps drops down to 9th.
Again, some great action there on that back half of the circuit. Some guys really putting it on the edge, and some great racing. A little bit of rubbing, and that's to expect it with the NASCAR. But everyone giving each other respect too.
Absolutely. And what do we say about NASCAR? Rubbin is racing, son. Rubbin is racing. Philip Woolley has worked his way up now into that battle. He's just got past Shane Bowen and is on the tail of Riley Curtis, who is himself on the tail of Ruben Phelps. And this group of cars is giving us a great battle at the moment.
Again, Carl, we've said it right throughout all our road races here at ANZCAR. We've had some great racing right throughout the field. We've had some of the guys check out at the front, but this mid pack is really strong, and some great hard battles.
Yeah, that's it. It's lovely to see the fighting going on as Riley thinks about making a move on Ruben. There goes for the late lunge, doesn't quite make it work. They are really racing each other hard, and that's what we like to see, hard racing where it is, not wrecking. We've seen a little bit of that so far, but not too much. There's been a lot more clean passing than there has been accidents, which is exactly what we like to see. Philip Woolley looking to make the move down the inside of Riley Curtis there. Curtis keeping the car in position, keeps it planted, and now up through the S's, up through turns 2, 3, up over towards turn 4 they come. This hilly section, very easy to have the car step out on you through these corners. You've got to be just so gentle on the throttle application as you go over that hill, because it is so easy to have a big accident. But they keep it working again, and into the bus stop they come again. Barely anything covering these 4 cars. This is from 9th position down into 12th position. Barely anything covering from 7th from down from that spot, really. They are all nose to tail. Yeah,
definitely. And remember too that Josh Schultz and Ruben Phelps have made it into the playoffs. So I know we've got a road course in the playoffs, so they'll be wanting to show people. Oh, as we see Woolley Curtis down the inside, 3 wide almost down the front straight here.
That is great stuff. I say I'll go 3 wide into turn number 1. Woolley going down the inside. He's got it slipped. Riley Curtis just lifting off the brake. They're 3 wide going up towards the S's. Who is going to be the brave one? Who is going to be the wise one? It looks like Ruben Phelps is going to lift off, but he is side by side with Bowen as they come up over the hill. They are making it through somehow. Woolley makes it past a lot of them. Absolute brilliant overtake there, and it's still happening. Ruben Phelps got passed by Riley Curtis, and now he's looking to make the move back on Riley's through at the bus stop they come. Phelps makes contact with Riley. Riley saves the car. They keep it going. Does Riley give him a little bit of payback? He does indeed. Little bit of a nudge there. Tried to redress, but unfortunately caught him again. Ruben Phelps goes round. Well, that was an action-packed couple of moments, Mark.
Well, it was. I was just watching, going back and watched Woolley come up over that. Oh, yeah, just a little love tap. Just enough to unsettle everything.
Yeah, there was the initial tap from Ruben to Riley, and then I think Riley was like, I'll give you a little bit of payback. Does the little tap, and then goes, oh, that's a bit too hard. Try and redress that. But no, unfortunately, the car was going round. Riley tried to do the gentlemanly thing of spinning it back in the right direction, but it didn't quite work.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Woolley was lucky when he was making that move, or after he's made that move up that back straight into the bus stop. He got out in the grass, and I've seen on the camera, his car stepped out a little bit, so he's very lucky not to turn it around.
Oh, I was expecting at least 4 cars to get taken out there, Mark. I mean, that had massive accident written all over it. So amazing job from everyone not to have a big wreck there.
Definitely. And we see Gary Wellman now a lap down after that little bit of an incident with Stevie Dubb. But yeah, it's been some great racing, some great action again. Just not sure where to look. DD there having a nice solid run.
Quiet night for Dave. He's in 4th position. That's where he started. He's sitting in 4th with Alexander Sheridan in 5th position. They're sort of where they came and started from. As Philip Worley has a bit of a moment in turn 1 again.
Ran really wide, just outbroke himself, and ended up out in the Neverland.
They ended up somewhere near Greenwich, Connecticut, I think. And that one, it was fairly out of bounds of the track, but luckily got back on there. It's a nice big runoff there these days without a massive grass verge, so you don't end up flying off it into space when you go off there these days, which is a nice thing. Yeah, he's going to have to redress and get back in action, get his head back down as well. And he's got to be cautious now because he's had a few times coming off the track. He is very close to earning himself a drive-through penalty. One more mistake and he's got a drive-through. So it's that point where we should start to see people thinking about pit stops in the very near future. You said about 25 laps, Mark?
Yeah, 20. Well, what the little bird told me was between 25 and 26. So, but we have been lied to before up here in the booth, Carl.
That's why we don't talk to liar birds, Mark. Oh, Tomlin has a big moment as well, just coming up through turn number 4. He somehow saved that. That looks like it was about to have the mother of all wrecks, and somehow he did not make it into the wall. That would have been a big sweary moment, I think. As you see, drifting out the corner, gets it settled, and then up to turn 4. It's like, no, I'm not going to work, and then it works. Oh boy, that was a scary moment.
Yes, and it could have had big ramifications for Joy in his second incident tonight. So Good to see Woolley getting, Tomlin getting some great car control.
Absolutely, it's one of those moments that you look like an absolute hero on stream. You know, people watch that and go, "God, that looked really sick, really nicely done." But if it cut to a facial, you'd be looking like a King Charles Spaniel with its face outside of the car window, just flapping around everywhere, unknowing what you were doing and panicking. I think it's one of those things. You never look as cool from inside the car as you do outside. Matty Ray up into 15th position now. He's slowly picking his way up the field as Stevie Dub is in pit lane. Meanwhile, out front it is Andrew Dyson for DPR. He has he's still setting some good times. He's almost got it into the 110s. 111.024, the best lap so far tonight. So it is a track that he doesn't particularly enjoy, but it does not mean he's slow. That's the problem with Dyso. It is he can not like a track and still be ridiculously quick there, and he is doing that at the moment as he puts Phil Otto a lap down. Phil having a good run at the moment, up in 16th spot, keeping the car out there for the Kingsman Racing entry and having a solid run out there tonight. Lachlan Urquhart sits down in 2nd position. As you see just how much room Dyso takes on the exit there. That's the thing. Dyson is so supremely confident to take every inch of track and not getting off track. He is very good at keeping it within the lines of play, so to say, and that's why he can sort of get those lap times, because he can just take those extra couple of meters of racetrack, carry more speed through, and just set those ridiculously fast lap times.
Yeah, he's definitely a master on these roads.
Might jump on board with him if we can, and we'll do a bit of a flying lap here. So we're coming up through the S's and onto the straight here down towards the bus stop. This is one of the fastest sections of track. Down towards the bus stop you come, braking, dropping it down to 3rd gear, taking the inside curve, banging over there, banging over these 2 curves as well. Got to get the curves right, because then you've got the carousel, keeping it in 3rd gear as you get towards that point, dropping it down to 2nd now as you run through the corner. Take as much road as you can here. You want to take as much runoff because you can take it much faster as you do that. Down towards the tricky turn number 6, left-hander, get close to the grass, turn in, keep the speed through. Don't take as much runoff here. You've got to keep it within the lines. Down towards turn number 7, again, fast right-hander. If you get this one perfect, you've got a great run for down the first start, finish straight, and you're going to make up a lot of time. Coming down towards turn number 1, across the line we go. And that was a 111.264. Turn number 1, downhill braking, it's cambered. The car will turn in if you get it in the right spot. Got to be careful on this exit, not taking the car too far over the curb because you can get it off track. Up the S's we come again, over the top of the hill. Keep it into 4th gear just as you get to the brow, and then plant your foot. Just got to be cautious on this bit now when you put your foot down. Jumping up into 5th gear, and that is a lap of Watkins Glen on board Andrew Dyson.
Okay, Carl, while we were on board there, we've seen Luke Crum, Christopher Tomlin, Bullet Woolley, Norman Clark in pit lane, and we have Joy Shelton, DD in pit lane now. And those first squad of guys only took fuel, no tyres.
Yeah, I would be surprised to see anybody taking tyres unless they've had a bit of an accident, unless they've had a big lock-up and a big slide job on those tyres and sort of buggered them up. Like we saw Gary Wellman, the tyres would have been a little bit dodgy after that incident. So
Dyson's in pit lane. Sorry, Carl.
Okey-dokey. As we see Matty Ray coming in just in front of him. Let's see here for Andrew Dyson what he decides to do on these ones. Lachlan Urquhart pulling it in as well. We can see there the SRM car in the background, still sitting in 2nd as they came into this one. Daniel Hedershide as well in 3rd. So top 3 in pit lane. Has Alexander Sheridan managed to save a whopping load of fuel to get a lap led here? We'll find out shortly. But doesn't look like that's going to be the case, because I think Dyson's going to get out just in the nick of time. Who's going to make it out first as Dyson comes out nice and evenly there? very nice time through the pit lane and gets back out on track, just taking fuel on that one. As we say, it's not worth really changing the tyres in these cars because it just messes you up for the next few laps.
Yeah, and the tyres, as we've seen earlier at the start of the race, the tyres take about 4 laps to come up to temp, and there's just, with 20 to go, it's just not worth it. You lose too much time on new tyres.
Yeah, I do really wish they would do something about that. And it just is very frustrating.
Look, I can tell you, Carl, I've heard a rumour that around Christmas time, they have some new data and different stuff from the real life cars, and there is going to be some changes to the tyre model. That they're going to get it closer to what it really is.
Yeah, that will be good indeed, because we do see with the full medal variants of these cars, they do tend to like to swap tyres in pit stops, and it does make a bit of a difference. So be good if they can get that one done. Shane Bowen is going to get the Good Mileage Award tonight, taking it 26 laps into this stint. Himself and Phil Otto, the two drivers to give it the longest run out there, the frugal drivers. They've managed to get an extra lap out of their tank over everybody else in the field. Shane Bowen jumping up into P2 when he was doing that one. So having a good run there for Cobalt Racing. Alexander Sheridan is having a great run as well. We've seen Sheridan having some good runs on the road courses. He has got Luke Crum for company behind him though. So there's a battle about to commence for these spots for sure. But they are having a really good run at the moment. And Flip Wally's up there too. So there's some good battles starting to shake out here throughout the field, and some good to see some different faces up towards the front of the field as well. As we say, the Cobalt Racing team, they've sort of been fairly fresh this season. It sort of came in earlier on in the year, but they've been having some really good runs recently, and it's nice to see them starting to get themselves together. And the Inside Lane production team as well, they've got a strong team with their cars as well, and having another good run as well, with one of their cars within the top 10 at the moment. So fantastic job from both of them teams. As we see now, Alexander Sheridan really starting to have to think about defensive driving.
Now, just looking further back, we've got Dyson about to come up and lap Matty Ray. So it's some interesting times coming for Dyson. Dyson can actually afford to take a little bit of time to get through this lap traffic. He's got a 15-second gap over Lachlan Urquio, so just pick the right time, Andrew, and nice and easy.
Yeah, when has Dyson ever taken it nice and easy? That's the thing. It is, he will absolutely be going for it still. And it's one of the things, if you've raced Daiso or, being lapped by Daiso. I've been lapped by Daiso many times. Been racing him a couple of times, not as many times as I've been lapped by him, but there have been a couple of times where I've raced him wheel to wheel. But it is he is always on the attack, and you've got to be perfect every lap so you can't get past, and it just takes its toll on you. He is just so good at being metronomically fast, and he's doing that right now as he goes down the inside. Brenton Henderson there, and he's getting up to Brad Finlay as well. This is a good battle on track. Ruben Phelps, Brad Finlay, Brenton Henderson and Manny Ray, these cars close together as we see Daiso going down the inside of the carousel. Norman Clark on the tail of that battle as well, the veteran South African driver there in Norman Clark, and he'll be happy to keep himself in the bubble there and see what he can do in that fight as well. And just sort of keeping his eye on the ball, and as it gets down towards 10 laps to go, he'll start turning up the speed as well, doing the usual Norman Clark thing of getting faster as the race goes on.
Yeah, Norman's always thereabouts towards the end of the race, and he's one person you definitely can't count out.
No, it's. I've said this a couple of times. Whenever I'm getting towards the end of a race and I look down at my relative and it's Norman behind me, I just go, "Oh no, I can't relax." It's that thing of you're going to get pushed right to the very end of the race, and he will absolutely do that. He's very good at keeping the car in a good fighting spot, and he is working it up there now.
Oh, Brendan Henderson got just out of the bus stop, moved out of the road to let his team boss by, and ended up sideways. But kept it off the wall, very close to going into that outside wall.
Let's see if we can catch that replay there for the Alopecia Awareness Foundation car, the SRM car, sporting that livery tonight. And that's not what you want to have happen. That will absolutely make your grip hold that steering wheel tight and go, okay, I survived, I just survived.
Yeah, definitely don't want to do that too many times through the race.
Absolutely, it definitely it gets bad. It gets worse and worse and worse as the race goes on when those things happen. It is a very scary thing to have happen at the best of times. But when you've got your team leader coming past you, and you know that he is fighting to try and get himself into the playoffs, you especially don't want to have accident and taking him out.
No, definitely don't want to take out the team boss. You might be looking for another team to drive for next year.
Very much so. It's it's never good fortune. Meanwhile, Dyson is still trying to beat his best lap time. He just did a 1:11.032. He's just a couple of thousandths off his fastest lap at the moment, but he is still banging it out there. Neil Pearson is going great guns as well. You can see him actually in this pack of cars. He is flinging his way through. He's just in front of Jai Schultz there. And this is the battle for fifth place at the moment. Alexander Sheridan, Luke Crum, Philip Worley, Jai Schultz, all fighting it out on track. A little bit further down the field is Christopher Tomlin. But these cars are absolutely stuck nose to tail. And I'm sure Neil Pearson's going to be sitting behind Worley going, just do this, use it this way, drive it a little bit differently in this corner, don't do that. He'll be trying to coach Worley around the course. Didn't quite work out for him as they went through turn number 7 there, as the car was very sideways. And now Jai Schultz down the inside, and Worley and Schultz make contact again. And also Luke Crum has a moment as well, almost mirroring his teammate there. They had sort of identical looking spins, but Luke Crum on his own just got a bit too much power on the exit of the corner. Worley and Jai Schultz making contact with each other. They really were going for it there, and that door was never going to be opened through that corner for Jai Schultz, especially with that earlier contact. Those two will have they'll be making each other's lists, I'm sure, not the Christmas card lists, that is. But then Luke Crum just got on the apron a little bit and just got a bit too much power, and that's such a shame, having such a strong run tonight in the 0-3-0. Trying to put the pressure on Alexander Sheridan and just makes that little mistake.
And that's all it takes, is just that slight error of judgment, and it can end up very sadly for you.
Absolutely, and I know those guys are teammates and stuff, so I wonder if they were in the same Discord, and maybe sort of Jai just going, oh no, making a loud noise or something like that might have just been enough to spook Luke Crum and cause him just to have that momentary lapse of concentration. I know it's one of those things that can really happen when you're actually driving with somebody else in Discord. When they make a mistake and sort of make a loud noise of, oh no, I'm going to crash, you sometimes glance sort of to a different side of the screen or momentary lose concentration and make a mistake yourself.
Yeah, team radios can be great, but also, as you said, Carl, if you make a mistake and you give a little squints over the radio, it's people tend to jump and try and look and see what happened, and that then can cause another accident for the guy that's trying to find out what's going on.
Flip Wally making a move down the inside of Sheridan up into P5. Nice move down turn 6 there for Wally. And cleanly makes it past Alexander Sheridan. And up they go. And all of a sudden that pack of cars has spread out.
If these guys are putting on a show like this, I think we go to the Charlotte Roval, is it, in the playoffs? How good is that race going to be there?
I'm remaining silent on that one, Mark, because it's the Charlotte Roval.
Come on, mate, I heard you love that place. Almost as much as you love Charlotte.
Charlotte's not too bad. The Roval, though, does take it down a few notches. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go at the Roval. It's a very different kind of road course, of course, and that can really change things up, as Philip Worley has had a big accident, and there was a big puff of smoke that we saw there on the cameras, and I think that was from Philip Worley, who made the mistake going, where has that happened? So just see here, 4-2-3-3 takes a bit too much curb and just gets a little bit sideways, and a huge wreck there coming out of the carousel. Spat him up into the wall and then straight into that tyre barrier, and that is that for Philip Worley tonight. The pole sitter is out of the race.
Yeah, it's not a very good night. Not a night he wants to remember. So let's see how he goes, and see if he comes back next week to have another run.
Yeah, it was good to see the purple machine back of Worley, but a bit in the wars tonight, and that was a nasty, nasty accident. And, well, that was a big one for sure. That is the end of the night. That just shows how easy it can happen here at the Glen as well. You know, that was a very easy mistake to make when you're pushing it through this place. And you'll see the cars taking that exact line lap after lap after lap. But he was just about, maybe about a metre too late crossing the curb. If you cross that curb a little bit too late, there's a nasty, nasty bump there. It really unsettles the car, and we'll see you spinning out like that.
And just checking back on our mate, Matty Ray, he's done very well and then back up in the 13th position.
Managed to work himself back into his starting slot, so slowly but surely getting his way up the field, and he's going to see what he can do in that car. Dave Douglas is still having a quiet night out there, still in 4th position. He's not really seen anybody all night long. He's just been sitting there in 4th position, just twiddling his thumbs and just going, well, I guess I'll take these points. I'm not going to complain. Because this is all good stuff to get him a position in the playoffs, and he will want to sort of at least have it secure on points, not having that victory next to his name.
Yeah, definitely. The other guy I'm going to mention tonight is Brad Finley, very quiet in the number 20 VB car. He is actually up, what is he, up 4-5 spots. So he's having a good night, and it's good to see him up into the top 15.
Yeah, solid run there for the Aussie Beer Motorsport car, and having a solid run out there tonight. And it's always nice to see Brad having a good drive. Mr. Finoli doing a good run out there tonight, and keeping the car in a good position, especially on a road course. It's nice to see that prowess, especially in the Cup as well. It makes you feel good getting a solid finish. Although Curse the commentator is starting to strike there, so we'll look away from you now, Brad.
Yeah, and look, Ruben up into it, up or down to the 11th, and as I said, he was not happy with that car in practice earlier on this afternoon, so he is definitely struggling here tonight.
Yeah, he's just not had well, he's not had the usual Ruben Phelps pace that we are so used to, and he's just been struggling the last two road races. Really, it's just not been working for him. He's going to be much happier once we get back on to the Overly horses, of course, and we are going to be back on those next time out because, well, it's the final round of the regular season, the final round of the standard season. That's going to be at Daytona. Yes, we're heading back to Daytona International Speedway for 80 laps. And, well, Mark, it's a super speedway. And what do the drivers say about super speedways?
Oh, look, people either love them or they hate them. I personally, I love Daytona, but guys just sometimes really just hate them, and it's really luck that gets you through there, because there's bound to be a big one somewhere in that 80 laps, and it doesn't always necessarily come at the end of the 80 laps.
No, that is it. It is very much the Marmite or the Vegemite, depending on your born locations. But it is the that version of spread of tracks. You either love it or you hate it, and it's going to be a bit of a lottery. It could really surprise somebody and give them the opportunity to get in the playoffs, a real wild card entry. But everybody is going to be working hard for that one, of course, and it could be a really good opportunity throughout the field. Just looking down, and Luke Crumb's dropping a couple of positions after just making a bit of a mistake through the first corner and dropped down a couple of spots and is now battling out with Riley Curtis, who is making the move. Riley Curtis and the RCD design car making the move up through the bus stop, getting himself locked up in front and getting himself back up inside the top 10, up into 8th position. Again, it's been a really solid drive for Riley, having some really good races on the road courses recently.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking. I've just pulled up the calendar, Carl. We off to Daytona next week, and then we can't go to much of a different track the following week for the first week of the playoffs, to our famous Darlington. So big difference there.
Yeah, it's a fairly nice difference in the little oval tracks there, and it's sort of everybody's two favourite styles of track: short track, big track. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who can make it work on the first round of the playoffs as well. Of course, it's a slightly new system for this year, and we'll talk to you about that once we get into them. At the moment, we are looking at the battle between Riley Curtis and Luke Crum. We've got 5 laps remaining here tonight, so it is absolutely flying, and we've had plenty of good racing to keep us entertained.
Yeah, definitely, and we've see Josh Schultz in the background there just closing in on this battle, so be interesting to see if he can get another spot.
We're currently sitting down in 10th position at the moment, and it's been an eventful night. On paper, it's where Jai started, but had to battle his way back up to that spot a couple of times after making contact with Philip Worley, and that sort of battle sort of had 2 parts to it as well. So he's had to really fight tooth and nail to get himself back up into this battle. We can see down the front straight they come from, looking to make a move, trying to think about the inside, not able to get braking there, but up to the S's, has got the position of the car, takes it down at the inside. That's going to soon become the outside, but gets the job done, gets the pass done, back up into 8th position.
Yeah, and we see in the background too, Andrew Dyson closing in on this battle. I think he may back off a little bit and not get himself tangled up in this. But then again, we are talking about Dyson.
Yeah, well, last lap he was 111.033, so he's definitely not backed off. I was waiting to see what he does to this lap, just in case. But yeah, really going some great guns at the moment, these guys, and look, giving us some good entertainment. And Dyson he's got a nice solid lead at the moment, 23 seconds over Lachlan Urquio, who's having a solid run tonight as well. Another solid outing on the road courses for Lockie. Been having some good runs this season, and will be very happy to finish on the podium tonight, I'm sure. Just 3 laps to get that one done. Daniel Hederscheid sits down in 3rd position. Again, making up 3 spots on the 035. Nice to see him back out on track. And one of the Atari cars back out there in the top 5. And the top 5, even in the top 3 as well. A solid night behind the wheel for Daniel Hederscheid. Dave Douglas down in 4th spot, having as I said, a very quiet evening of just driving around by himself. Not really seen anybody around him for most of the race. It's been a very, very quiet one for himself.
Yeah, it's been a rather quiet race for him. He's been out by himself for a lot of the race. Dave would be happy with 4th place. Some more points for him to try and secure that playoff spot.
Yeah, he will be very happy to get that one. Alexander Sheridan having a strong run as well, starting 5th and currently sitting in 5th as we see them just getting past Gary Wellman. And having a really solid run as well. It's been good to see Cobalt Racing cars up there, and a solid run here on the road course coming up into P5. That's a very, very sturdy finish in the series. Christopher Tomlin has Shane Bowen for company just behind him. This battle has been raging.
Oh, sorry, Carl. We just seen Joyce Schultz take the shortcut through the bus stop. He tried to pull another one of those moves on the inside into the right-hander of the bus stop, and locked that right front up, and ended up going across the grass.
Seeing the replay here now, and very lucky there, and that was right in front of the leader as well, Andrew Dyson, coming up to battle that one. And Jai Schultz is not wanting to give that lap up at the moment, because he knows if he loses that lap, it could lose him a position if somebody in front of him makes a mistake. So that battle is really going on at the moment. Shane Bowen and Christopher Tomlin fighting up ahead as well. Those two really side by side at the moment, really battling it hard up through the S as they come. Tomlin's got a little bit of a better run off here. He's going to have to run down towards the bus stop. Where does Bowen position the car? Goes down to the inside, covers off the inside line. Does Tomlin get it through on the outside? Not quite. Can Tomlin get a better run through the corners? Not taking it as tight. Not quite. Very nicely defended there from Shane Bowen.
Yeah, the last spot will be in the last left-hander or the last turn, where Tomlin can have another shot at him.
Yeah, Tomlin's had some good runs out the corners. Looks like he's got a little bit better exit speed on some of the corners. But Bowen is just really good at positioning that car in the sort of perfect spot to keep it placed in a position where you cannot get past that Mustang. So we will keep our eyes on that little battle, because it's also the final lap. The white flag is out for Andrew Dyson. He just has one more lap to go, 3.4 kilometres.
That's just check it for him.
That's a check out, but the cars in front of him will still be racing for one more lap.
My timing's not working there, because it said I still had 0.7 of a lap to go.
Well, you do now.
Yeah.
So pick back up that battle between these five guys. Just keeping an eye on Guy. He's closed back in on Riley, and it's a ding dong battle here for the last lap.
Yeah, really good battle here down towards the end. Apologise about that, folks. For some reason my timing screen decided it wasn't going to work. But perils of broadcasting, and it looks like Bowen is going to just defend, but will Riley Curtis, as Jai Schultz makes the final dive there and makes it through for 9th position. a do or die moment, but it is Andrew Dyson that takes a victory here tonight and will be burning those tyres up in style and enjoying himself here for a bit of a victory donut and a little bit of a burnout, I am sure, for another solid victory. And we've got to ask, what can we do to get Andrew Dyson off the top step of the podium?
I think we need to let everyone else have 2 or 3 lap head start.
I think it's time we invest in the old-fashioned monkey approach. We'll just get a monkey to sit next to him in the sim rig, and go throwback to classic NASCAR racing. Get a live monkey next to him, and that might be enough to distract him.
I think so.
No, it would be a Jocko Flocko moment all over again. It would be victory lane for the monkey on his shoulder. But Dyson, absolute masterclass here tonight on a track that he does not favour, taking out the win by a solid margin, 25 seconds over Lachlan Urquio, who had a solid run tonight as well, coming home in second. Daniel Hederscheid in third position, our top 3 here tonight at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, some great results there. DD home in fourth, and then, as you said, rounding out the top 5, Alex Sheridan. So some great guys, some different people up there in those top 5 spots.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, a solid night for Inside Lane as well as Cobalt Racing. Cobalt Racing having their cars with Sheridan and Bowen in 5th and 6th, and Inside Lane with Tomlin Crum. Jai Schultz in 7th, 8th, 9th. Riley Curtis brings it home in 10th position as well. A really solid night of racing for Riley Curtis, absolutely battling it to the line, and another top 10 finish on the road courses. Ruben Phelps' night did not go as planned, but it didn't go as badly as he would have thought, coming home in 11th ahead of Brad Fenley, who had a solid run tonight, up 5 positions, one of the biggest moves and shakers throughout the field. Manny Ray started 13th, finished 13th, but had a big accident at the start of the race that cost him some of those spots. Norman Clark comes home in 14th position, with Brenton Henderson, the biggest mover of the night, up 6 positions in 15th position. He is going to be stoked with that one, I am sure. Gary Wellman comes home 16th, with Phil Otto 17th, Stevie Dubb 18th, Neil Pearson 19th, Wally 20th, 21st Jordan, who had some technical issues with his computer and pedals, unfortunately, and JCW out early doors with the accident.
Yeah, that's definitely going to hurt JCW in the chaser positioning. It's going to be hard for him to make the chase now, I think.
Yeah, that is a really, really painful one. And yeah, it's not what you want to have happen towards the end of the season. It does make it all that more painful. So we're going to start off with our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Daniel Hederscheid of Natari Car fame, the 035 here. Daniel Hederscheid, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on a podium here at the Glen.
Yeah, cheers. I tried to keep it interesting, keep up with Lockie, but he was just a bit too quick for me, so it ended up being quite the lonely old race at the end there. But yeah, P3, I won't complain.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was a bit of a lonely night for Dave just behind you, yourself, Lockie, and Dyson. You sort of had a nice big field spread there. You had a few moments where you could see each other, but for most of the race, there was fairly hefty gaps.
Yeah, it was quite spread out. Like, I think there was quite a big gap after even, what was it, turn 1 at the start. I got pretty lucky there. Came away clean, so it was quite nice to have. I think it was a 3 or 4 second buffer back to Dave, and then clinged on the back of those 2 in front and tried to go with them as much as I could. But they obviously Daiso done his thing, and then stayed with Lockie for a bit, but he just slowly pulled away. I just kept making a couple silly little mistakes here and there, and he wasn't making any mistakes. So yeah, good on him. Good on both of them.
Well, absolutely. Look, a little silly mistake here and there, though. It's not too bad if they don't cost you too much, and they did not cost you too much tonight. You had some really good pace in the car, and as you said, first corner, you made up some good positions early on, up 3 positions from the starting point of the race. You obviously missed a little bit of the carnage. That must have helped a tiny bit for you.
Yeah, well, I actually thought I was going in to create the carnage. I had there was a gap there, and Dave was on the left, Lockie was on the right, and I thought, oh, I'll go there, and then they both started merging in, so I backed out a little bit, and lucky for me, Dave and Wally both went a bit wide, turn one, left me a bit of room, and I could just sort of do my own race from there on, and yeah, paid off, I guess.
It did indeed. Look, another solid result, and you must be, a little bit of confidence boost on the road courses, getting a nice podium tonight, heading in to the playoffs very, very shortly, of course, and you're locked in for that. So, the road course in there at the Roval, if you're still in contention there, it might be could another top three finish there could really be a helpful one.
Yeah, the road courses are very hard to come away with a podium this year. I mean, there's 3 or 4 guys that are pretty hard to beat, but we'll see what we can do. We'll try and make it that far through the playoffs. Fingers crossed. I think pretty confident we've come away with a few podiums going into them, so just keep the practice up, and to be fair, start the practice up and then see what we can do from there.
Keep the momentum going and take it to those orange and red cars as well. Look, congratulations tonight, Daniel. Well done indeed on a decent podium finish. Before I let you go, the usual thing, love the shout outs. Go for it, mate.
Yeah, shout out to Growth Odyssey, Turbo Alpha Japan, Fully Flawed, and the Tatari boys. There was only a couple of us here tonight, but Norm went pretty strong. I think JCW obviously had a bit of I don't know what happened at the start there, and then shout out to the 2 in front of me. They were too hard to beat, and yeah, you guys were waking on the broadcast.
Look, you are always welcome. Congratulations on the podium again tonight, and hopefully we're going to see you back up here in the very near future, mate.
Fingers crossed.
Daniel Heddershire there for Natari. A solid result for him in third tonight. Next up, we have got for SR Marama Australia, Mr. Lachlan Urquio. Lockie, welcome to the booth, mate. It's always good to have you up here, and even better when it is P2 at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, man, that's definitely the boost of the confidence I needed. I've had a real shocking last sort of 5-10 weeks, so it's really nice to put it back on the podium and on pace confidently too. Like, just felt really in the groove all night long, even through qualifying. It just felt hooked in.
Absolutely. Starting up in third position, you were looking strong all night long. And look, consistency-wise, you were really having a good run out there tonight.
Yeah, look, I just wound it back a bit. I didn't go 100% because the last couple of weeks I've been trying super hard on the road courses, and then it just ended up in the fence. And I mean, I got a bit lucky with sort of not losing the podium at Chicago, but then also I lost a lead lap finish at Sonoma. So it was just sort of like I've been a bit scrappy. I got a bit lucky. So this week I just put in a bit of extra effort to just sort of work on consistency because I knew I had the pace already around here.
Absolutely, and it looks like it has paid off indeed. I mean, 25 seconds back from Dyson is not a bad finishing position on a road course.
No, I think that's the thing that I was most pleased by. And I mean, I probably lost about 3 or 4 seconds at the end there because I didn't want to push through the back markers too much because I knew I only had a couple of laps left. So it probably could have been a bit closer. But no, it's always special when you keep up with Dyson. And yeah, he was pretty quick tonight, but he wasn't his super stellar best. So maybe he is beatable.
A chink in his armour, maybe only at Watkins Glen though, unfortunately.
Yeah, but props to him though. Like, he puts in a lot of effort. And it shows. He's by far and away the best road course racer. So to even hold a candle to him, it's definitely a big boost to the confidence heading into the playoffs.
Absolutely, and look, this is a really good points hold for yourself. We were talking about that in the broadcast. You're currently the top driver on points at the moment, since your teammate, Mr. Ruben Phelps, got that victory next to his name. But you must be feeling a little bit more confident with only one race to go now.
Well, I think I did the maths. I think mathematically, now don't quote me, I can't be knocked out. I'm pretty sure with JCW finishing like 20th or something, where I think myself is locked in, and probably one of Dave or Matt. I can't remember who.
Yep, it's very close to that, so it's very good news for that. So you can take a little bit of relaxing. I want to see that victory next to your name, though. You know, Daytona next time out. You know, you've got the options there.
Oh, I just want to survive there, Carl. That place is wild.
I'll just tell you to break a leg next week, mate.
Yeah, well, you wish me bad luck, and I got on the podium, so can't hurt.
Look, a really solid run for yourself and some solid drives for the team as well tonight. Great stuff to see. Congratulations on P2 tonight here, Lockie. Before I let you go, though, love the shout outs to team sponsors. Go for it.
Well, yeah, as you said, to the boys, I know Ruben was struggling a bit with sort of confidence under brakes and on turning. So to come home with 11th is a good result for him. And then Matty had an absolute nightmare on lap 1 and his car was destroyed. So he hauled that thing back into the top 15. And Brenton, who's been having a nightmare on the road courses, another top 15. He drove really well tonight as well. Obviously, the sponsors, we've got Mobile Brake Mechanical right there on the bonnet. Those guys looking after us this year has been absolutely stellar. Made of Auckland as well, have chipped in a bit, helped us sort of look after the practice sessions this year. So, and it's really proved quite well for us as we've sort of had a bit of pace. Obviously, Moondog 1956 looking after us as well. And then, sorry, a bit of a mind blank there. And also you got Murphy's on the back bumper as well, hooking us up with a bit of pieces here, there, and there. And then a big shout out to the Choose Charities. As you can see, I've been running the TS car the last couple of weeks, and then also Brenton's gone with he's got the nice big purple on the back of his car because he's gone for the AAAF Alopecia Foundation.
Absolute great stuff indeed. It's great to see the team up there with another podium this season. Hopefully we can see a couple of wins in the playoffs for you guys. But for tonight, Lockie, enjoy the second place finish.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for the broadcast.
Always welcome, mate. Lachlan Acquia there for SRM coming home in second. And finally tonight, he should just let himself into the booth. He knows the way in these days. We've got their own little Dyson flap down on the door now, so he can just let himself in and out whenever he feels like it. It's Mr. Andrew Dyson. Dyso, you weren't confident coming into this one. But with this win, I mean, does it make the Glen a little bit more fun for you?
I always do say if you do well at a track, you tend to like it, but I'll stick to what I said. It's I mean, of all the NASCAR road courses, it's my least favorite, but still, it's a road course, and I tend to do all right, so it worked out okay.
Yeah, you tend to do okay. I mean, just a 1 minute 10.8 out there tonight. You know, not bad for a fast lap.
Yeah, I had to sweat it. I was trying for it for so long, and the first one I got was invalidated because I got a off track through the bus stop, which was annoying. But I got there the next lap, and it was just in time too because I caught some traffic for those last couple of laps and just backed it off a bit.
Oh, we did jump on board with you. I think when you were trying to just a couple of laps before your pit stop, where you were trying to get some speed up there, and we were sort of going, yeah, definitely quick, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying then as well, but so I think what happens is if you press on with it too much for too long, you can burn your stuff up a bit still, even though it feels like these tires are pretty much rock hard and they can just go forever and ever. I think you can burn them up a little bit, so I think I was suffering a little bit at that point, but I let them come back to me a bit after the pit stop and was able to get moving again. Every now and then when I felt like I was ready to have another dip at going fast, not that I was backing it off at all. I mean, I felt like I probably never really dropped off sort of 95% sort of thing, but just got to keep yourself in the zone. I think if you back it off, that's when you start making mistakes, which just caught me out just last weekend, actually. So, yeah, we're not doing that again.
You see, Mark was going, oh, yeah, Dyson's got plenty of time now. He'll back it off now. He'll take it easy. I'm like, it doesn't happen with Dyson. He doesn't do that, That's the thing. When you back it off, you tend to make a mistake. And we saw you keeping up the pace tonight and just keeping the car in a good form. It was a bit of a tricky race for the team, though. We saw a big accident at the start of the race with your teammate Neil Pearson, and then Philip Wally having a big moment as well, unfortunately. So not able to repeat the feat of last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, they had a couple of, not really Neil's fault. His one, I think he just sort of, he found himself heading towards the scene of an accident, which is, it's just the way it goes sometimes. That's just racing. He by his own admission, he should have qualified better. So, I mean, he'll try and do that next week. Obviously, because not really when it comes to qualifying, it seems to be a bit of a lottery when you go to Daytona and Talladega. But yeah, I'm sure they'll bounce back. And for Worley, he just missed a brake mark a little for turn one, probably by wouldn't have been bugger all. Would have been like a car length, maybe half a car length, and that's all it takes really. So had to sort of fight back through, and I'm not too sure what happened, but I know once you're behind some cars here, particularly in this exact car, the next gen car, very hard to pass. So yeah, that's how that went for him.
Absolutely. Well, it was an absolute masterclass out there tonight. It's always great to watch you racing, but off to the super speedway next time out, which we say is a chink in your armor, but you're still good on those as well.
Yeah, got the hang of him. That's for sure. I mean, I can't be too confident about it. We know what happened at Atlanta, so. But I mean, I can't knock myself for trying again and again and again. So we'll try again next week, and if I take out a mate, well, hopefully I don't take anybody else out as well.
That's it. Practice the bug drafting.
I was going to say, I'll give you a hint, Andrew. Go really fast, turn left.
That sounds like a good plan.
Look, a solid victory here tonight, mate. Always great to see. And now comes the main part of the evening for you. The shout out, the love to the sponsors and people in general. Go for it, mate. You deserve it.
Oh, well, the most important folks are always the ones that put the league on. Everyone that shows up, you guys are putting on the broadcast. I mean, all this fun stuff doesn't happen without all the people that get involved. So thanks a lot to everybody who comes along. Thanks everyone for a good race tonight. And yeah, quick on to simrigs.com. Supply to my gear. Get around those guys. And who else we got? South Wales, Ben Max. Yep, Neil takes care of the paint jobs. A little bit of a tweak up this week. We've got some black numbers in a slightly different spec map. Might be a bit hard to tell, but we notice those little details, so it's fun for us and anybody else with a keen eye. And yeah, I suppose we look forward to next week for something completely different, back to our regular scheduled entertainment of going around, turning left.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you there. Congratulations tonight, Daiso. Best of luck at Daytona, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in the very near future.
Cheers, folks. We'll see you soon.
Andrew Dyson there for DPR, taking a victory tonight, and look, a thoroughly well-deserved one, and a solid race for everybody tonight, Mark.
Yeah, definitely some great moves, some great battles right throughout the field. That midsection where we had the inside lane production cars and a couple of the other guys there really putting on a great battle with the SRM boys. Again, we've been support for some great road racing action in this next gen car.
We have indeed, but we are back to the regularly scheduled programming next time out. It is Daytona and it is a super speedway. So we look forward to seeing you there. Of course, we are back on Sunday night as well. It is the return of the Australasian Supercar E Series, where we're going to be racing, Matt.
The first race of season 7 will be at Michigan. Be 100
Wonderful.
laps on Sunday night, yeah.
We look forward to seeing you there for that. And of course, we also have the action over with the Weekend Warriors, Mark.
Yeah, this week we're off to Kansas, so be interesting to see who can come out for that one and continue on with the great racing that we get there.
Absolutely. Look, we hope you can all join us for those races, and we look forward to seeing you there for them. And of course, back here next week from us here at Performance E-Streaming, though, we're going to wish you a good night from myself, Carl Wilkinson with you, of course, Mr. Mark Johansson and Matt Hunter. We will wish you a good night, and we'll see you back here soon.
Right,